Hello and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be something that I thought of last minute, which I thought would be pretty cool because in 2 days from when I'm recording this, the decade ends. So I wanted to talk about the top 10 best creepypastas, ARGs, anything horror related of the past decade that took like the internet by storm. And honestly, there were a few and it was hard for me to choose, but I ended up choosing ones that I heard of and that I really enjoyed when they first came out. And it's not going to be in any particular order, it's just going to be of what I wrote off the top of my head. So hopefully you guys enjoy the list, and if you think I missed some, or if you have your own list, put it in the comments below. Now, let's get into it. Number 1. Slenderman. We all know who Slenderman is, the creature who started off on the Something Awful forums created by Eric Knudsen in 2009. You know who that is, the big slinky scary monster that everyone had nightmares of for like a long time. And honestly, it doesn't count into this decade technically because it was made in 2009, but everybody went crazy for it when the game started being made, and memes around 2010, 2011. So that's why I count Slenderman as one of the ones for this decade. And honestly, if you don't know the whole original story of Slenderman, the original lore and stuff like that, like when he used to get guts and stuff and all the organs of his victims and put them in bags, go look it up. Or if you'd like me to cover it, leave in the comments below. Number 2, Herobrine and Entity 303. Yeah, we all know who Herobrine is at this point. Even if you don't play Minecraft, it's gotta be on some top 10 creepypasta list. So if you don't know who Herobrine is, he's just some urban legend created by some people back in the day in Minecraft, back when the game first came out. And honestly, it's proceeded so far into the decade that people now know who Herobrine is. There's songs about him, there's memes, and Entity 303 was basically just a clone that happened around, I believe it was 2014, 2015, around that time. And it grew into something of its own thing, and Herobrine and him were rivals, and Herobrine ended up turning into a good guy kind of thing, and a bunch of other Minecraft creepypastas ended up sprouting from it. So if you don't know their stories, I would recommend going looking them up because they are very fun, and honestly, they are really cool. And when I was playing Minecraft back in the day, trust me, I wanted to see Herobrine. I was like scared and intrigued at the same time. Number 3, the Expressionless. If you don't know what the Expressionless is, I want to keep as much of it vague as possible because I will be covering this soon. This one will be covered soon. It was basically a woman that entered a hospital with a white gown covered in blood, and she didn't have any emotions. She was just blank, and she resembled a mannequin, and the story just goes crazy and goes down a really tragic hole. And honestly, if you haven't read the story, go and read it before I tell you, because honestly, it's pretty cool. Number 4, the sun vanished. Yes, this is an alternate reality game kind of thing on Twitter, and honestly, it was one of the things that blew up around the horror community when it first came out. ARGs started becoming something really big around 2017, 2018, and the sun vanished was one of the bigger ones, and honestly, it's really interesting. I don't know if it's still going on. I haven't been keeping up with it. But if it is, I would recommend to go check it out and read the whole thread yourself because, man, there are some scary ass things going on in there. And just for a brief synopsis, it's basically an alternate reality where the sun disappears, and I'm assuming that aliens are invading our universe in that one, and people are just trying to survive, and the main character is very interesting and trying to figure out everything on his own with his friend. And yeah, just go check it out. It's really interesting. Number 5, Momo. Now, if you don't remember Momo, the Momo challenge, that was a big thing like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. Maybe it was this year. I don't remember. There's a lot of things going on, but it's another thing that took the freaking internet by storm. It was a challenge that ended up being a hoax that, you know, it just became an urban legend. And honestly, it was one of those things that is like right place, right time, right story. Boom, there you go. You have an internet urban legend that everyone will remember. Number 6, the SCP Foundation. And if you thought I wasn't gonna put the SCP Foundation on this list, you are insane, because this is one of the biggest, most factually driven creepypastas on the entire internet that's been going on for years, almost a decade. And honestly, it just keeps growing and growing, adding new creatures, new creepypastas to its list. Honestly, they all are interesting, and just reading the selection and playing their games and just doing all that stuff, the SCP Foundation creepypasta is one of the best stories, one of the best written, one of the best explored, one of the most expansive. Even though there aren't the best, sometimes it's a really good creepypasta. Number 7, Dear David. Now, if you don't remember, back on Twitter, there's a guy named Adam Ellis who started posting a bunch of pictures about his apartment being haunted by a ghost of a dead child. And honestly, it started really small and just blew up into a big thing, to the point where he's getting a movie made about this freaking creepypasta. And it's honestly one of the coolest things ever. But yeah, honestly, it was one of those things that took the whole internet by storm again. And everybody just knew about it. Everyone was talking about it. Every horror channel was talking about it, trying to get to see if it was real, if there was more information. It was ongoing for like months and months, to the point where we found out it was just a hoax or like fake or whatever. And honestly, that was one of the most interesting stories. Number 8, the Ayuwoke. Now, the Ayuwoke just became more of a meme than a creepypasta, but I mean, it started off as basically originated as a Spanish-speaking creepypasta story, being a deliberate misspelling of the lyrics "Annie, are you okay?" from Michael Jackson's song. And honestly, I did not get that until I looked it up. So if you didn't know that, yeah, that's basically what it was. It was, I think, a Michael Jackson robot that was kind of creepy, and it was a Spanish creepypasta, and honestly, it just blew up into this whole thing where everybody knew about it, kind of like the Momo thing, and it has its own game too, which honestly, once you have a game made about your creepypasta, I'm pretty sure you've made it in this world. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Number 9, Gregory 88. Now, there's not a lot that I can say about this one, because I myself am still reading into it, but I know it's a really, really big one. It's another ARG on Twitter, but it kind of goes into some Lovecraftian elements, which, if that interests you, I would just say go and check it out, because it honestly is one of the best ARGs so far. It's up there with Dear David and Sun Vanished. And finally, number 10, Siren Head. And you thought I was going to leave this boy off the list. No, I am not. Siren Head is a recent creepypasta, but it is one of the most famous right now. It is something similar to Slenderman in the way it was an origin through a photo, and honestly, it just blew up like crazy. And every other creature that Trevor Henderson created after, most of them didn't hit, but some of them did, and they blew up just like Siren Head. And if you don't know who Siren Head is, check out my videos on Siren Head on the channel. And honestly, probably one of the best of this year and one of the best of the decade, because I'm pretty sure that everyone will remember it in maybe 10 to 5 years. All the legends, all the things, when it finally gets to that status like Slenderman has. But hopefully it doesn't go down the dark path that Slenderman's story did. So yeah, that was my top 10 list of the creepypastas of the decade. What did you guys think? If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want to keep up with my content. And yeah, just tell me what your list would be. What would be your top 10 creepypastas of the decade? Because I'm very interested to know. Because honestly, these are mine. I had a hard time picking, because I was going through a couple and I was like, these are okay, but these are the ones that were fun. These are the ones that people remember. When you mention them, everybody knows. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See you next year.